Right now, as you listen to this sentence, someone just earned $100 while they slept. Another person worked 40 hours this week and still can't pay rent. What's the difference? It's not luck. It's not intelligence. It's understanding one simple truth that the wealthy guard like a secret. Money doesn't grow from working harder. Money grows from time. And in the next 2 hours, you're going to discover exactly how the richest people on earth use this invisible force to build empires while you've been taught to trade hours for dollars. By the end of this audiobook, you'll never look at a dollar the same way again. You'll understand why waiting costs you everything, and why starting today, even with pocket change, puts you ahead of 90% of people who will stay broke forever. This is how money really grows. And it starts now. Chapter 1. The lie you were taught about money. When you were young, someone told you a lie. They probably meant well. Maybe it was a parent, a teacher, or society itself. The lie was simple. Work hard, save your money, and you'll be fine. Millions believe this. Millions stay broke because of it. Here's what they didn't tell you. Saving money is not the same as growing money. When you save, your money sits still. When you grow money, your money works. And the difference between these two ideas is the difference between struggling your entire life and achieving financial freedom. Let me prove it to you right now. Imagine you save $1,000 under your mattress. Noble effort. Discipline. 10 years later, you still have $1,000. But here's the problem. That $1,000 is now worth less. Inflation ate it alive. The groceries that cost $50 10 years ago now cost $70. Your money didn't disappear, but its power did. You worked hard to save it, and the world punished you for not understanding growth. This is the trap. Good people fall into it every single day. Now imagine a different scenario. You take that same $1,000 and you let it grow at 10% per year. Not lottery winnings. Not gambling. Just consistent, patient growth. After 10 years, you don't have $1,000 anymore. You have $2,594. You did nothing. You didn't work extra hours. You didn't stress. Time did the work. Your money multiplied itself. This is compounding. And it's the only way money really grows. But here's where most people fail. They hear this and think, I'll start next year. Or, I'll wait until I have more money to invest. Fatal mistakes. Every single day you wait, you lose. Not a little. A lot. Because compounding doesn't care about your excuses. It only cares about time. The person who starts today with $100 will end up richer than the person who starts in 5 years with $1,000. Time is the secret ingredient, and you're wasting it. The wealthy understand this at a cellular level. They don't see money as something to hoard. They see it as seeds. You don't bury seeds in a vault. You plant them. You water them. You let time turn one seed into a forest. Poor people collect seeds. Rich people plant forests. Which one are you? The answer to that question will determine everything about your financial future. Think about the wealthiest person you know. I guarantee they didn't get rich by working more hours than you. They got rich by letting their money work while they slept, while they traveled, while they lived. Their money had a job. Your money is unemployed. And an unemployed dollar is a dying dollar. This isn't theory. This is math. Cold, ruthless, beautiful math that doesn't care about your feelings or your fears. Here's what's heartbreaking. Most people will hear this truth and do nothing. They'll nod along, say that makes sense, and go right back to trading hours for dollars. They'll work until they're 70. They'll stress about bills. They'll wonder why life feels so hard. And the answer will be simple. They never let time work for them. They never planted seeds. They never understood that money grows in the dark, quietly, exponentially, when you're not even looking. You have a choice right now. You can keep believing the lie, or you can accept the truth. The truth is uncomfortable because it means you've been wrong. Maybe for years, maybe for decades, but discomfort is the price of transformation. And transformation is the only path to wealth. So let me ask you directly, are you ready to stop working for money and start making money work for you? Because everything changes after this moment. The people who win with money aren't special. They're not geniuses. They simply learned the rules that school never taught you. And rule number 1 is this: time multiplies money faster than effort ever will. You can hustle yourself into exhaustion, or you can plant seeds and watch them grow into trees. The choice has always been yours. You just didn't know you had it. Until now. Every dollar you earn is a soldier. You can send that soldier to die in a spending war, or you can send it to multiply in a compounding army. Most people sacrifice their soldiers for temporary pleasure. They buy things that lose value, cars that depreciate, clothes that go out of style, meals that turn into waste. The wealthy send their soldiers to war with a different mission: multiply and conquer. And those soldiers bring back reinforcements. Those reinforcements bring back more. Until you have an unstoppable financial force. This isn't about deprivation. It's about direction. Your money is already going somewhere. The question is whether it's building your future or funding your present at the cost of your future. Rich people fund both. They live well and they build wealth. How? They understand the difference between assets and liabilities. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out. Most people fill their lives with liabilities and wonder why they're always broke. Here's the mental shift you need. Every time you're about to spend money, ask yourself, is this a seed or is this consumption? Seeds grow. Consumption disappears. Both have their place. You need to eat. You need shelter. You deserve joy. But if 100% of your money is consumption and 0% is seeds, you're guaranteeing poverty. Even shifting to 90% consumption and 10% seeds will transform your life. That 10%, given time, will grow larger than the 90% you spent. Pause and reflect. What story about money did you inherit that's keeping you broke? In the next chapter, we're going to break down exactly what compounding is, step by step, so you can see the invisible machine that builds fortunes. You're about to witness the mathematics of wealth. Stay with me. Chapter 2. The invisible machine that builds fortunes. Compounding is a word you've heard before. But I'm going to bet you don't truly understand it. Not the way the wealthy do. Because if you did, you'd never sleep on money again. Compounding is the process where your money earns returns, and then those returns earn returns, and then those returns earn returns on returns, forever, exponentially, without limit. It's money breeding money. And it's the closest thing to magic that exists in the financial world. Let's start simple. You invest $1,000 at a 10% annual return. End of year 1, you have $1,100. That's your original $1,000 plus $100 in growth. Easy. Now here's where it gets interesting. Year 2, you don't just earn 10% on your original $1,000. You earn 10% on $1,100. That's $110. See what happened? Your earnings just earned. That's compounding. That extra $10 might seem tiny, but it's the seed of exponential growth. Most people's brains can't grasp exponential growth. We're wired for linear thinking. You work 1 hour, you get paid for 1 hour. Linear. But compounding is exponential. It starts slow, almost invisible, and then it explodes. This is why the first 10 years of compounding feel like nothing's happening, and the last 10 years feel like magic. You're not doing anything different. The math is just catching up to itself. And when it does, fortunes appear. Here's a famous thought experiment. Would you rather have $1 million today, or a penny that doubles every day for 30 days. Most people take the million. It feels safe, concrete. But the penny that doubles becomes $5,368,709.12 by day 30. That's compounding. The $1 million never grows. The penny becomes an empire. This is the difference between working for money and letting money work for you. Now let's talk about real life. Let's say you invest $500 a month starting at age 25. You earn an average 10% annual return, which is historically what the stock market delivers. By age 65, you'll have $3,175,000. You only contributed $240,000 of your own money. Where did the other $2.9 million come from? Compounding. Your money had children. Those children had children. And you built a dynasty. But here's the painful part. If you wait until age 35 to start, same $500 a month, same return, you'll end up with $1.2 million. You waited 10 years and lost nearly $2 million. That's not a typo. 10 years of waiting cost you $2 million. Time is the most valuable asset you have, and every day you delay is a compounding cycle you'll never get back. Never. This should terrify you into action. The invisible machine works while you sleep, while you binge shows, while you scroll on your phone. It doesn't need motivation. It doesn't get tired. It just needs fuel and time. You are the fuel. Time is the engine. And the longer the engine runs, the faster it goes. This is why wealthy families stay wealthy. They start the engine early. They feed it consistently. And generations later, the machine is unstoppable. Poor people interrupt the machine. They pull money out when it's inconvenient. They stop feeding it when life gets hard. They don't trust the process because they can't see it working. And because they can't see it, they quit. This is the tragedy. The machine was working. It was building. But impatience killed it. Impatience kills more fortunes than any market crash ever will. Remember that. Compounding demands 3 things from you: capital to start, time to grow, and discipline to never stop. You don't need to be rich to start. You need to start to become rich. Even $50 a month compounding over 40 years becomes $250,000. That's retirement. That's freedom. That's the difference between dignity and desperation in old age. And it starts with $50. Not someday. Today. The machine doesn't judge you. It doesn't care if you're behind. It just starts building the moment you turn it on. Every dollar you feed it multiplies. Every month you stay consistent, the machine gets stronger. This is your financial immune system. And you've been walking around unprotected your entire life. But not anymore. Now you know the machine exists. Now you know how to turn it on. Here's what the wealthy won't tell you. They're not smarter than you. They just started earlier. They fed the machine more consistently. They trusted math over emotion. And the machine rewarded them. It'll reward you too. But only if you stop hesitating. Only if you stop waiting for perfect. Perfect never comes. Good enough today beats perfect tomorrow. Every single time. Think of compounding like a snowball rolling down a mountain. At the top, it's small. You can hold it in your hand. But as it rolls, it picks up more snow. It gets bigger, heavier, faster. By the time it reaches the bottom, it's the size of a house and nothing can stop it. That's your money over time. It starts small. You might look at your account after a year and feel discouraged. Only grew a little. But keep rolling. Keep feeding it. And 20 years later, the momentum is so powerful that your money grows more in 1 year than you contributed in the first 10 years combined. This is why the wealthy protect their compounding machines like dragons guard gold. They don't interrupt them for fancy cars or luxury vacations. They live below their means specifically to keep feeding the machine. Because they understand something you're just learning now. The machine, once it reaches critical mass, produces more wealth than you could ever earn by working. Your job is to get it to critical mass, and the only way to do that is time plus consistency. Pause and reflect. If you started investing today, what would your life look like in 20 years? Coming up next, we're going to explore the brutal truth about time and why waiting is the most expensive mistake you'll ever make. The cost of delay will shock you. Chapter 3. The most expensive mistake you'll ever make. Waiting costs you everything. Not some things. Everything. And most people have no idea how much money they're losing by putting off investing until the right time. There is no right time. There's only now and too late. Let me show you the math that keeps financial advisors up at night, the numbers they wish everyone understood before it's too late. Meet two people, Sarah and Mike. Sarah starts investing $200 a month at age 25. She does this for 10 years, then stops completely. Total invested, $24,000. Mike waits until 35 to start. He invests $200 a month for 30 years straight until retirement at 65. Total invested, $72,000. Mike invested 3 times more money than Sarah. Who do you think has more at retirement? Sarah has $637,000. Mike has $452,000. Sarah invested less, stopped early, and still won by nearly $200,000. How? Time. Those first 10 years of compounding did more work than Mike's entire 30-year journey. This is the power of starting early. And it's the tragedy of waiting. Mike worked harder, saved more, and still lost. Because he gave up time. And you can never buy time back. Every single year you wait, you don't just lose that year's contributions. You lose decades of compounding on those contributions. That $5,000 you didn't invest this year would have been $50,000 in 30 years. You didn't delay $5,000. You delayed $50,000. This is the hidden cost people never calculate. They see the small number today and ignore the massive number tomorrow. And that blindness keeps them broke. Think about this. Someone who invests from age 20 to 30 and then stops will beat someone who invests from 30 to 65, even though the second person invested for 35 years compared to 10. The first decade of compounding is worth more than the next 3 decades combined. Read that again. The first 10 years are worth more than the next 30. This should fundamentally change how you think about urgency. But here's what happens in real life. People in their 20s think they have time. They want to enjoy life first, invest later. People in their 30s are dealing with kids and mortgages. People in their 40s panic and try to catch up. By 50, they're desperate. By 60, they're resigned. And at 70, they're still working because they waited. All because they didn't understand that time was the game, not money. Money you can always make more of. Time, never. The painful truth is that most people listening to this right now are already behind. You should have started years ago, maybe decades ago. And that realization stings. Good. Let it sting. Let it wake you up. Because while you can't go back and fix the past, you can stop making the same mistake today. The second best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago. The best time is right now. Stop mourning lost time and start using the time you have left. Here's another brutal example. Invest $10,000 at age 25 with a 10% return. By 65, it's $452,000. Start at 35 with the same $10,000 and return. By 65, it's $174,000. You waited 10 years and lost $278,000. 10 years of waiting cost you nearly $300,000 on a single $10,000 investment. Multiply that across every dollar you delayed, and you're talking about millions of dollars lost to hesitation. People say, "I'll start when I make more money." That's a trap. The amount you start with matters far less than when you start. $100 a month starting today will beat $1,000 a month starting in 10 years. The math is ruthless. It doesn't care about your plans. It only cares about time in the market. And every day you're not in the market, you're bleeding potential wealth. Waiting also costs you psychologically. Every year that passes without progress makes starting feel more overwhelming. At 25, starting feels achievable. At 45, starting feels impossible. You're not just fighting math anymore. You're fighting shame, regret, and fear. These emotional weights make people freeze completely. They'd rather do nothing than face how far behind they are. And doing nothing guarantees they stay behind forever. But here's the empowering truth. It's never too late to start. Yes, starting late costs you. But starting never costs less than continuing to wait. If you're 40 and you start today, you'll be better off than if you wait until 41. If you're 50, start now. 60? Start now. 70? Start now. The machine still works. It's just not as powerful. But some power is infinitely better than no power. And regret is the most expensive emotion you'll ever carry. The wealthy don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait for more knowledge. They start, they learn, they adjust. Action beats perfection every single time. Because action compounds too. Every month you invest builds a habit. Every year you stay consistent builds character. And those invisible assets, discipline, patience, knowledge, they compound just like money. You're not just building wealth. You're building the person who can handle wealth. Let me give you one more example that will haunt you. Two friends, both age 30. Friend A starts investing immediately. Friend B waits 5 years. Both invest until age 65. Both put in $500 monthly. Both earn 10%. Friend A ends up with $2,200,000. Friend B ends up with $1,400,000. 5 years of waiting cost friend B $800,000. Not a little bit of money. Life-changing money. Generational money. Gone because of 5 years of hesitation. What were those 5 years spent on? Probably nothing memorable. Maybe some nicer dinners. A slightly bigger TV. A vacation or two. Nothing that compares to $800,000. This is the trade people make without realizing it. They trade their financial freedom for temporary comfort. And by the time they realize the trade was bad, it's too late to undo it. The compounding clock doesn't rewind. Pause and reflect. How much has waiting already cost you, and what will it cost if you wait another year? Next, we're diving into the exact mechanics of compound interest. The numbers, the formulas, the undeniable proof that time is your greatest asset. You're about to see the math that changes lives. Chapter 4. The Mathematics of Miracles. Compound interest has been called the eighth wonder of the world. Einstein supposedly said, "Those who understand it earn it. Those who don't pay it." Whether he said it or not doesn't matter. The truth does. And the truth is that compound interest is the most powerful force in finance. It's not magic. It's mathematics. And once you see the numbers, you can't unsee them. Your brain will fundamentally rewire around this concept. The formula is simple. A equals P times 1 plus R to the power of T. Where A is the final amount, P is principal, R is rate, and T is time. Don't let the formula intimidate you. What matters is what it means. It means your money grows exponentially, not linearly. Small differences in rate or time create massive differences in outcomes. A 2% difference in return over 30 years can mean hundreds of thousands of dollars. Time is the exponent, and exponents are where miracles live. Let's run real numbers. Invest $10,000 at 5% for 30 years. You get $43,219. Same investment at 7%. you get $76,123. 2% more return nearly doubled your money. Now do 8%. $107,373. At 10%, $174,494. The differences are staggering. This is why the wealthy obsess over rates of return. 1 or 2% isn't a rounding error. It's the difference between comfortable and wealthy. But here's the trap: chasing high returns without understanding risk. A guaranteed 7% beats a risky 12% that might disappear. Compounding only works if you don't lose the money. 1 bad year can erase 5 good years. This is why consistency beats intensity. Slow and steady actually does win the race when compounding is involved. Boring wins. Flashy loses. Remember that when the next guaranteed investment opportunity finds you. Now let's talk about frequency. Compounding can happen annually, quarterly, monthly, or daily. The more frequent, the better. $10,000 at 10% compounded annually for 10 years gives you $25,937. Compounded monthly, it's $27,070. Daily compounding gets you $27,181. The differences seem small, but over decades, frequent compounding adds tens of thousands of dollars. This is why savings accounts advertise APY instead of APR. They want you to see the compounded rate because it's higher. Here's a concept that blows minds: the rule of 72. Divide 72 by your rate of return, and that's how many years it takes to double your money. At 6%, your money doubles every 12 years. At 9%, every 8 years. At 12%, every 6 years. This means at 9%, $10,000 becomes $20,000 in 8 years, $40,000 in 16 years, $80,000 in 24 years, and $160,000 in 32 years. Use 16xed your money just by waiting and letting math work. The math also reveals a dark truth. Debt compounds against you. Credit card debt at 18% doubles every 4 years. Owe $10,000 on a card? Don't pay it down, and in 4 years you owe $20,000. 8 years, $40,000. 12 years, $80,000. This is how people drown. They don't understand that compound interest doesn't care which side you're on. It works for you or against you with equal ruthlessness. The wealthy use it as a tool. The poor get crushed by it as a weapon. Think about a mortgage. Borrow $300,000 at 4% for 30 years. Your monthly payment is $1,432. Over 30 years, you pay $515,609. That's $215,000 in interest. You didn't borrow $515,000. You borrowed $300,000. Compounding cost you $215,000. This is why paying extra toward principal matters so much. Every extra dollar you pay saves you $3 in interest over the life of the loan. Now flip it. Take that extra mortgage payment and invest it instead. $500 a month at 8% for 30 years becomes $745,180. You just created $750,000 by understanding which side of compounding to be on. The difference between wealth and poverty often comes down to this one decision: are you paying compound interest or earning it? The mathematics of compounding also reveal the power of small changes. Save an extra $50 a month. Over 40 years at 8%, that's $174,000. Cut one subscription, one coffee habit, one unnecessary expense. That's not deprivation. That's mathematical warfare against a life of financial stress. Every dollar you don't spend is a soldier in your wealth army. And compound interest is the general that multiplies your troop. Here's the final mathematical truth. Compounding is patient, but it's not forgiving. Miss the first 10 years, and you can't catch up by saving more later. The math won't let you. This is why urgency matters. You're not fighting against other people. You're fighting against exponential curve. And exponential curves don't negotiate. They don't care about your story. They just compound, relentlessly, for whoever shows up early and stays consistent. Let me show you the power of just 1 extra percent. You invest $100,000 for 30 years. At 7%, you end up with $761,000. At 8%, $1,006,000. One single percentage point difference created $245,000. Now imagine that across your entire investing life. Imagine that across multiple accounts. Small optimizations create massive outcomes. This is why the wealthy pay attention to fees, expense ratios, and tax efficiency. Because 1% here and 1% there adds up to millions. The math is beautiful because it's democratic. It doesn't care who you are. It doesn't care about your background. Rich or poor, black or white, educated or not, compound interest treats everyone the same. Feed it capital and time, and it grows. This is the most level playing field that exists in capitalism. The barrier to entry is low. The rules are transparent. The results are guaranteed over sufficient time. And yet most people never play the game. Pause and reflect. What's one expense you could cut today to feed the compounding machine? Up next, we're exploring the psychology of wealth. Why smart people stay broke, and how to rewire your brain for financial success. The mental game is everything. Recap, Chapters 1 to 4. Let's pause and recap what we've covered so far, because these foundations will change your life if you let them. First, we exposed the lie you were taught, that hard work alone creates wealth. The truth is that money grows through compounding, not labor. Saving is not growing. Growth requires time and understanding. Second, we revealed the invisible machine, compound interest, that builds fortunes while you sleep. Your money earning returns on returns on returns, exponentially, forever. Third, we calculated the most expensive mistake, waiting. Every year you delay costs you decades of growth. Sarah versus Mike proved that starting early with less beats starting late with more. Fourth, we ran the mathematics that prove miracles are just math. Small differences in return rates and time create massive differences in outcomes. The rule of 72, frequency of compounding, and the ruthless truth that compound interest works for you or against you, never neutral. Here's what ties it all together. Time is your only irreplaceable asset. You can always make more money. You can never make more time. The wealthy understand this at their core. They plant seeds early and let time do the heavy lifting. You're at a crossroads right now. You can keep trading hours for dollars, or you can start building a system where dollars multiply themselves. One path leads to exhaustion. The other leads to freedom. What's coming next goes even deeper. We're about to explore the psychological barriers that keep people broke even when they know the math. Knowledge isn't enough. Execution is everything. And execution requires rewiring beliefs you've held your entire life. Stay with me. The transformation is just beginning. Chapter 5. Why Smart People Stay Broke. Knowing how compounding works and actually using it are two completely different things. This chapter is where most people fail. Not because they're stupid. Because they're human. And humans are wired for survival, not wealth. Your brain is running ancient software in a modern world, and that software is sabotaging your financial future every single day. Understanding your psychology is just as important as understanding mathematics. Maybe more important. Let's start with instant gratification. Your brain is designed to prioritize immediate rewards over future gains. This made sense when we were cavemen. Eat the berry now or risk starvation. But in modern finance, this wiring destroys you. Spending $100 today feels better than having $10,000 in 20 years, even though the second option is objectively superior. Your brain can't process exponential future value. It only processes immediate dopamine. And dopamine is bankrupting you. This is why budgeting feels like torture. Every time you choose not to spend, your brain perceives it as loss. Even though you're gaining in the future, the present sensation is deprivation. And humans avoid deprivation at all costs. So you spend. You self-soothe. You justify. I work hard, I deserve this. And that sentence costs you your financial freedom. Because deserving and affording are not the same thing. The wealthy delay gratification. The poor demand it now. Next, let's talk about loss aversion. Studies show humans feel the pain of loss twice as strongly as the pleasure of gain. Lose $100, and it hurts more than gaining $100 feels good. This psychological quirk makes people terrified of investing. What if the market crashes? What if I lose money? These fears feel rational. They're not. They're emotional. And they keep you broke. Because the fear of losing money prevents you from making money. You avoid risk so completely that you guarantee poverty. Here's the truth about risk. Not investing is riskier than investing. Inflation guarantees your cash loses value. The market historically guarantees growth over time. You're choosing the certain loss of doing nothing over the probable gain of doing something. That's not safety. That's self-sabotage. And it's rooted in a brain that evolved to avoid tigers, not to build wealth. Your fear response is outdated. But it's still running the show. Another psychological trap: analysis paralysis. You want to learn more before you start. You want the perfect strategy, the perfect time, the perfect amount. So you research, you read, you watch videos, and you never actually invest. Information becomes procrastination. You confuse learning with doing. And while you're learning, the compounding clock is ticking. You're not getting smarter. You're getting poorer. Because knowledge without action is just trivia. Then there's social comparison. You see someone on social media flaunting wealth, and you feel behind. So you spend money to look successful instead of actually becoming successful. Designer clothes, expensive cars, luxury vacations, all on credit. You're buying the appearance of wealth while destroying the foundation of real wealth. The irony is devastating. The people you're trying to impress are just as broke as you, playing the same stupid game. Meanwhile, actual millionaires drive Hondas and wear normal clothes. Because they understand that looking rich and being rich are opposite. Scarcity mindset is another killer. You grew up without much, so you hoard what you have. You don't invest because you're afraid to lose the little you've got. But hoarding guarantees scarcity. Money that sits doesn't grow. It shrinks through inflation. Your protective instinct is ensuring the outcome you fear most. The wealthy have abundance mindset. They see money as flowing, not fixed. They invest confidently because they trust in growth. And that trust becomes self-fulfilling. Your mindset literally creates your financial reality. Let's talk about identity. You might unconsciously believe that rich people are greedy, or that wanting wealth is shallow. If that's your belief, you'll sabotage yourself every time you get ahead. Because becoming wealthy would require you to become someone you've judged as bad. This is deep psychological warfare. Your values and your goals are in conflict. And when they are, values always win. You'll stay broke to stay good. Until you realize that wealth and goodness are not opposite. Wealth is a tool. Morality is how you use it. Here's another trap: learned helplessness. You tried before and failed. You invested and lost money. You started a business that didn't work. So you concluded that financial success isn't for you. That it's for other people. Lucky people. Smart people. Connected people. But not you. This belief is poison. One failure doesn't predict all future outcomes. The stock market has crashed dozens of times in history. And every single time, it recovered and went higher. People who stayed in won. People who gave up lost. Your past doesn't determine your future unless you let it. Comfort zone is killing you too. Your current financial situation, even if it's stressful, is familiar. Change is uncomfortable. Starting to invest means admitting you've been wrong. It means facing the unknown. It means risking failure again. So you stay where you are. Broke but comfortable. Struggling but familiar. And that comfort is more expensive than any risk you could take. Because staying broke is guaranteed failure. Investing is probable success. You're choosing the certain bad outcome over the likely good outcome because certainty feels safer than probability. The wealthy think differently. They see money as a tool, not an identity. They see investing as farming, not gambling. They plant seeds knowing some won't grow, but the ones that do will more than compensate. They think in decades, not days. They optimize for long-term wealth, not short-term appearances. And most importantly, they act despite fear. They feel the same emotions you do. They just don't let emotions make their decisions. Logic does. Math does. Strategy does. You can rewire these patterns. It starts with awareness. Notice when you're about to make an emotional financial decision. Pause. Ask yourself, is this fear talking or is this wisdom? Is this instant gratification or is this aligned with my long-term goals? Create a gap between impulse and action. In that gap, rationality lives. And rationality builds wealth while emotion destroys it. Pause and reflect. Which psychological trap is costing you the most money right now? Next chapter, we're diving into the practical side, where to actually invest your money, how to choose the right vehicles, and how to start building your wealth machine today. The strategy begins now. Chapter 6, where money actually grows. Theory is useless without application. You understand compounding. You know waiting costs everything. But where do you actually put your money to make it grow? This chapter is the bridge between knowledge and wealth. Because knowing what to do means nothing if you don't know where to do it. Let's talk about the vehicles that transport you from broke to financial freedom. First, the stock market. Over the past 100 years, the stock market has averaged 10% annual returns. Some years it's up 30%. Some years it's down 20%. But over time, 10% average. This is the most accessible wealth-building tool in human history. You don't need to be rich to start. You don't need special connections. You just need a brokerage account and the discipline to consistently invest. Index funds make it even easier. You buy the entire market. When America grows, you grow. Simple. Effective. Proven. Index funds are the secret weapon of the wealthy. They're boring. They're simple. And they beat 90% of professional investors over long period. Why? Low fees. Broad diversification. No emotional trading. You buy an S&P 500 index fund, and you own pieces of the 500 largest companies in America. Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Google. You're betting on American innovation and capitalism. Historically, that's been the best bet anyone can make. And it costs almost nothing in fees. But here's what kills people: trying to pick individual stocks. You think you're smarter than the market. You're not. Professional fund managers with teams of analysts and supercomputers can't beat the market consistently. What makes you think you can? Stock picking is gambling dressed up as investing. It feels smart. It's not. It's ego. And ego is expensive. Buy index funds. Hold them forever. Get rich slowly. Boring beats exciting every single time when money is involved. Next, retirement accounts. 401ks, IRAs, Roth IRAs. These are tax-advantaged wrappers around your investments. The government is literally offering you free money through tax breaks, and most people ignore it. If your employer matches 401k contributions, you're getting an instant 100% return. You put in 1,000, they put in 1,000, you immediately have 2,000. Show me another investment with guaranteed 100% instant returns. You can't. It doesn't exist. Not maxing out your employer match is leaving free money on the table. Roth IRAs are the future you gift. You pay taxes now, but the money grows tax-free forever and you never pay taxes when you withdraw. Imagine having $1 million in retirement and paying zero taxes on it. That's the Roth. The catch is income limits and contribution cap. But if you qualify, max it out. Every single year. Non-negotiable. This is the difference between retiring with dignity and retiring broke. Traditional IRAs and 401ks give you a tax break now, but you pay taxes later when you withdraw. Still valuable. The money compounds tax-free for decades. That deferred tax savings means more money working for you longer. The debate about Roth versus traditional is less important than the action of contributing. Rich people max out both. Poor people do neither. Be rich. Real estate is another path. Buying property that appreciates while tenants pay your mortgage builds wealth two ways: appreciation and cash flow. But real estate is harder. It requires more capital up front. It requires management. It's not passive like index funds. And it's illiquid. You can't sell half a house when you need cash. Real estate works best when you have significant capital already and you're diversifying beyond stock. It's not the starting point for most people. It's the next level. What about crypto? Speculative, volatile, potentially huge returns. Also potentially total loss. If you're going to invest in crypto, treat it like gambling money. Only invest what you can afford to lose completely. Don't put your retirement savings in Bitcoin. Don't mortgage your house for Ethereum. Crypto might make you rich. It might make you broke. The math isn't proven over generations like stocks are. It's a bet, not a plan. Bets are fine if you can afford to lose. Bonds are the safety play. Lower returns than stocks, but more stable. When you're young, you don't need safety. You need growth. Bonds make sense when you're older and protecting wealth matters more than building it. The classic rule is your age in bonds. 25 years old? 25% bonds. 60 years old? 60% bonds. This balances growth with stability as you age. But early on, tilt heavy towards stocks. You have time to recover from crashes. High-yield savings accounts are for your emergency fund, not for wealth building. 3 to 6 months of expenses sitting in cash, easily accessible. This prevents you from selling investments when life happens. You lose your job? Emergency fund covers it. Medical expense? Emergency fund. Car breaks down? Emergency fund. This buffer keeps your investments untouched, which keeps compounding working. Without it, you're constantly interrupting your wealth machine. And interruptions kill compounding. Now let's talk about what doesn't work. Savings accounts for investing. Inflation eats them alive. Checking accounts. Same problem. Keeping cash under your mattress. You're guaranteeing poverty. Gold and collectibles. They don't compound. They might appreciate, but they don't throw off returns that reinvest. Money needs to be in vehicles that multiply, not just store value. Storage is not growth. The strategy for most people is simple. Max out employer 401k match, max out Roth IRA, then invest everything else in low-cost index funds in a taxable brokerage account. That's it. 3 accounts. Automated monthly contributions. Decades of compounding. This isn't sexy. It's not exciting. And it works. Every single time. For anyone. Regardless of income level. The formula is proven. The only question is whether you'll execute it. Automation is the key to execution. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your investment account. Pay yourself first. Before rent. Before bills. Before anything. If you wait until the end of the month to invest what's left over, there will never be anything left over. Expenses expand to fill income. This is Parkinson's law applied to money. Automate your investments so they happen before you can spend the money. This removes willpower from the equation. And willpower is unreliable. Systems are reliable. Pause and reflect. Where is your money currently sitting, and is it actually growing? Coming up, we're breaking down the exact strategies the wealthy use to accelerate compounding: dollar cost averaging, rebalancing, tax loss harvesting. The advanced tactics that separate millionaires from billionaires. Stay focused. Chapter 7. The strategies that multiply wealth. Knowing where to invest is step 1. Knowing how to invest is step 2. This is where amateurs become professionals, where good returns become great returns, where wealth builds faster because strategy amplifies compounding. These aren't tricks. They're mathematical optimizations, and they're the difference between being comfortable and being wealthy. Dollar cost averaging is the first strategy. Instead of investing a lump sum all at once, you invest fixed amounts at regular intervals. $500 every month, regardless of market conditions. When prices are high, you buy fewer shares. When prices are low, you buy more shares. Over time, you average out market volatility. This removes emotion from investing. You're not trying to time the market. You're not stressed about buying at the peak. You just buy consistently, and consistency wins. The math behind dollar cost averaging is beautiful. Imagine the market is volatile. Month 1, shares cost $100 each. You buy 5 shares. Month 2, crash, shares cost $50. You buy 10 shares. Month 3, recovery, shares cost $75. You buy 6.67 shares. You now own 21.67 shares at an average cost of $69.23 per share, even though the average share price across those months was $75. You bought more when it was cheap, less when it was expensive. Automatic optimization. This strategy also solves the emotional problem of market crashes. When the market drops, most people panic and sell. Dollar cost averaging forces you to buy. Crashes become sales. You're excited when prices drop because your fixed monthly contribution buys more shares. This psychological flip is powerful. Fear becomes opportunity. And over decades, buying during crashes is where the real wealth is built. The people who panicked and sold during the 2008 crash lost. The people who kept buying became millionaires. Next strategy, rebalancing. Let's say you decide on an allocation of 80% stocks, 20% bond. Over time, stocks grow faster. Now you're 90% stocks, 10% bonds. You're taking more risk than you planned. Rebalancing means selling some stocks and buying bonds to get back to 80-20. This forces you to sell high and buy low. You're taking profits from what's grown and putting it into what's lagged. Mathematically, this increases returns over time. Rebalancing once a year is enough. Don't do it too often or you'll trigger unnecessary taxes and fees. But once a year, check your allocation. If it's drifted more than 5 percentage points, rebalance. This is discipline. This is strategy. And it beats emotional trading every single time. Most people do the opposite. They chase winners and avoid losers. They buy high and sell low. Rebalancing forces the correct behavior even when it feels wrong. Tax loss harvesting is for taxable account. If an investment is down, you sell it to realize the loss, then immediately buy something similar but not identical. The loss offsets your capital gains, reducing your taxes, but you're still invested in the market. You didn't actually lose money long term. You just optimized your tax bill. This can save thousands of dollars a year. Over decades, those savings compound too. Tax efficiency is a return multiplier. Here's an example. You own an S&P 500 index fund. It's down $5,000 this year. You sell it, realizing the $5,000 loss. You immediately buy a total stock market index fund. Nearly identical investment, different enough to avoid wash sale rules. Now that $5,000 loss offsets $5,000 of capital gains from other investments. If you're in the 22% tax bracket, you just saved $1,100 in taxes. That's a free $1,100 to reinvest, which compounds forever. Maxing out tax-advantaged accounts is another strategy. 401k contributions reduce your taxable income. If you make $100,000 and contribute $20,000 to your 401k, you only pay taxes on $80,000. That's immediate savings. Plus the $20,000 grows tax-deferred. You're saving on taxes now and letting the full amount compound without annual tax drag. This is massive over decade. Every dollar you keep from the taxman is a dollar that compounds for you instead. Roth conversions are advanced but powerful. If you have traditional IRA money, you can convert it to a Roth. You pay taxes now, but then it grows tax-free forever. This makes sense in low-income years or when you expect tax rates to rise in the future. You're paying taxes at today's rate to avoid paying at tomorrow's potentially higher rate. Strategic, patient, and lucrative for those who understand it. Asset location is subtle but important. Put high-growth, tax-inefficient investments in tax-advantaged account. Put tax-efficient investments in taxable account. Example: bonds throw off interest income taxed at your ordinary income rate. Put bonds in your 401k. Stocks held long-term get capital gains rates which are lower. Those can go in taxable account. This optimization saves you thousands in taxes over time. And those thousands compound. The wealthy also understand sequence of returns risk. Two people invest for 30 years. Same contributions. Same average return. One person experiences great returns early, terrible returns late. The other has terrible returns early, great returns late. They both average the same return, but the person with bad returns late has way less money. Why? They were withdrawing during the bad years, selling low. Sequence matters. This is why as you approach retirement, you shift to more conservative allocations. Protect against bad timing. Another strategy: increase contributions over time. Start with 5% of your income. Every year, bump it up 1%. Most people don't notice a 1% difference in their paycheck. But over a career, that escalation makes a massive difference in your final wealth. You're giving yourself raises that your future self will thank you for. This is painless wealth building. Don't check your accounts too often. Research shows people who check daily trade more often and perform worse. Emotion takes over. You see a drop, you panic. You see a gain, you get cocky. Neither serves you. Check quarterly. Rebalance annually. Otherwise, ignore it. Let the machine work. Your job is to feed it consistently, not manage it constantly. Overmanaging kills returns through fees and emotional decisions. Finally, never stop learning but always keep acting. Read about investing. Understand new strategies. But don't let learning replace doing. The person who invests with basic knowledge beats the person with expert knowledge who never invests. Action with okay information beats perfect information with no action. Every single time. You can optimize as you go, but you have to start going. Pause and reflect. Which strategy can you implement this week to optimize your wealth building? Chapter 8: surviving the storms. Life will try to kill your wealth machine. Count on it. Unexpected expenses, job loss, market crashes, medical emergencies. The question isn't if these things will happen. It's when, and whether you'll be prepared. This chapter is about building a financial fortress that can weather any storm. Because compounding only works if you protect it, and protection requires planning. First obstacle: debt, credit cards, student loans, car payments, personal loans. Debt is anti-compounding. It's money multiplying against you instead of for you. 18% credit card interest means your debt doubles every 4 years. That's compounding working for someone else. You're the fuel for their wealth machine. This has to stop. Immediately. Before you invest a single dollar, you must kill high-interest debt. Here's the priority. Pay off anything above 7% interest before investing. Why 7? Because that's roughly what you'd earn investing. If your credit card charges 18% and investments return 8%, paying off the card is an 18% guaranteed return. You can't beat guaranteed returns. Pay the card, then invest. The exception is employer 401k match. That's free money. Get the match, then attack debt, then invest more. The debt snowball versus debt avalanche debate. Snowball means paying smallest debts first for psychological wins. Avalanche means paying highest interest first for mathematical optimization. Avalanche is smarter financially. But if you need quick wins to stay motivated, snowball works. The best method is the one you'll actually execute. Perfection that you quit on loses to good enough that you maintain. Student loans are tricky. Low interest, sometimes tax deductible. If your loans are under 5%, you might invest while making minimum payments. The math says your investments will outgrow the loan cost. But emotionally, debt is weight. Some people can't focus on building wealth while carrying debt. Know yourself. If debt stresses you, pay it off first. Peace of mind has value too. Just don't let it delay starting forever. Emergency funds are non-negotiable. 3 to 6 months of expenses in a high-yield savings account. This is your buffer, your protection, your insurance against interrupting compounding. Without it, every emergency forces you to sell investments at the worst possible time. Car breaks down, you sell stocks to fix it, probably during a market dip. That's forced selling at a loss. Emergency fund prevents this. It keeps your compounding untouched. But don't oversave. I've seen people with $50,000 in their emergency fund earning 1% while they could be investing. That's fear disguised as prudence. 6 months of expenses is enough. More than that, you're losing money to inflation and opportunity cost. Calculate your actual monthly expenses. Multiply by 6. That's your target. Hit it, then redirect everything else to investments. Market crashes are inevitable. They happen every few years. Sometimes mild corrections. Sometimes brutal crashes like 2008. Your emotions will scream at you to sell. Save what you have left. But selling during a crash locks in losses. You turn temporary paper losses into permanent real losses. The market always recovers. Always. Every crash in history has been followed by new highs. The people who stayed in won. The people who sold lost everything. Think of crashes as sales. Everything you wanted to buy is now 30% off. Are you excited or terrified? Your answer determines your financial future. The wealthy see crashes as generational buying opportunities. They pour money in while everyone else runs scared. This is how fortunes are made. Not during the boom times. During the crashes. When you're buying assets from panic sellers at discount prices. If you're young, you should pray for a market crash early in your investing career. Seriously. You'll be buying stocks at massive discounts for years while it recovers. Your dollar cost averaging will accumulate huge amounts of shares cheaply. When the recovery happens, and it always does, you'll be wealthy. The worst thing for a young investor is a smooth, steadily rising market. You want volatility early and stability late. Job loss is terrifying. But if you have your emergency fund and you've been investing, you have options. Your emergency fund covers expenses while you find new work. Your investments keep compounding. You don't interrupt the machine. Without preparation, job loss spirals into credit card debt, selling investments at losses, and years of recovery. With preparation, it's a temporary setback. Maybe even an opportunity to find better work. Medical emergencies can bankrupt you in America. Health insurance is mandatory, even if it feels expensive. One hospital stay without insurance can cost hundreds of thousands. That destroys your financial future. Pay for insurance. Max out HSAs if you're eligible. HSAs are triple tax advantaged. Tax-deductible contributions, tax-free growth, tax-free withdrawals for medical expenses. They're the most powerful savings vehicle that exists if you're healthy. And if you're not healthy, the insurance protects you from financial ruin. Life will throw curveballs. Your roof will need replacing. Your car will die. Family members will need help. This is normal. This is life. The emergency fund handles minor stuff. Insurance handles major catastrophes. And the investments? They keep working. Untouched. Growing. Because you built a system that separates living expenses from wealth building. This separation is everything. Inflation is a silent killer. 3% annual inflation means your money loses half its value every 23 years. This is why cash savings accounts aren't wealth building. They're wealth erosion. Your investments need to outpace inflation by at least 5% to actually grow your purchasing power. This is why stocks averaging 10% matter. After inflation, you're really earning 7%. Still great. But you need that growth to stay ahead. Don't let fear of losing money prevent you from making money. Risk is real. But avoiding risk guarantees poverty. The greatest risk is taking no risk. You'll work forever, stress constantly, and die broke. That's not safety. That's a slow death. Calculated risk with proper diversification and time horizon is how wealth is built. Accept the risk. Manage it. But never avoid it completely. Finally, automate everything. Bills on autopay. Investments on autodraft. Rebalancing on a calendar reminder. Remove decisions from the equation. Decisions require willpower. Willpower is finite. Systems are infinite. Build a system that runs without you thinking about it. That protects you from yourself, from emotions, from laziness, from forgetfulness. Systems build wealth. Hope doesn't. Pause and reflect. What's the biggest financial storm you're not prepared for, and how will you protect yourself? Next chapter is about scaling. What happens when your compounding machine starts producing real money? How to accelerate growth, when to take risks, and how to think bigger as your wealth grows. The endgame approaches. Chapter 9. Accelerating toward freedom. You've started. You're consistent. Your wealth machine is humming. Now what? This chapter is about taking your foot off the brake and pushing the accelerator. About recognizing when you have momentum and leveraging it. About scaling your wealth building as your income and confidence grow. This is where good investors become wealthy investors. Where financial stability becomes financial freedom. First, understand the phases of wealth building. Phase 1 is survival. You're breaking even, maybe building a small emergency fund. Phase 2 is stability. You have emergency savings, you're investing regularly, debt is under control. Phase 3 is growth. Your investments start throwing off real returns. Your net worth grows faster than your contributions. Phase 4 is freedom. Your investments produce enough income that work becomes optional. Each phase requires different strategies. In the survival phase, your focus is cash flow. Increase income, decrease expenses. Get out of high-interest debt. Build that emergency fund. Investing is secondary. You're building the foundation. Don't skip this. A house built on sand collapses. Many people try to invest while drowning in credit card debt. That's backwards. Shore up the foundation first. In the stability phase, you're building the compounding engine. Maxing retirement account. Buying index funds. Dollar cost averaging. Rebalancing annually. This is the decade where habits form, where discipline becomes identity. Most people spend 10 to 20 years in this phase. It feels slow. It's supposed to. You're building wealth brick by brick. The 30th brick doesn't look impressive, but it's necessary for the 100th brick. The growth phase is where magic starts happening. Your investments grow more in a year than you contribute. This is compounding taking over. Your money is finally making more money than you make working. This is the inflection point, the moment where your net worth curve goes vertical. Don't change your strategy here. Don't get fancy. Stay the course. Let the machine do what it's designed to do. How do you accelerate in each phase? In survival, side hustles. Sell things. Get a second job. Learn a high-income skill. Increase your value in the job market. Every extra $1,000 you earn and invest becomes $10,000 in 20 years. Your earning potential is your greatest asset when you're young. Invest in yourself. Learn. Grow. Become more valuable. That pays forever. In stability, optimize everything. Reduce fees on your investments. Every 0.1% in fees costs you tens of thousands over decade. Refinance your mortgage if rates drop. Optimize your taxes. Max out all tax-advantaged accounts. Increase your savings rate by 1% per year. These small optimizations compound too. The difference between a 0.5% expense ratio and a 0.03% expense ratio is massive over 30 years. In growth, consider adding real estate or starting a business. At this point, you have capital. You have stability. You can take calculated risk. Rental properties can accelerate wealth through leverage, cash flow, and appreciation. Businesses can explode your income if you solve real problems. But these are high-touch. They require work. They're not passive like index funds. Only pursue them if you have the time and interest. Otherwise, stay with what works. The freedom phase is about preservation and income. You shift from accumulation to sustainability. You might move from 80% stocks to 60%. You want less volatility because you can't afford a crash right before you need the money. You start thinking about withdrawal strategies. The 4% rule. Withdraw 4% of your portfolio annually and it should last 30 years. This is financial independence. Throughout all phases, increase your income and your savings rate. Most people increase income but also increase spending. That's lifestyle inflation. You make more, you spend more, you stay broke. Fight this. Make more, save the difference. Every raise you get, invest it. You were living on your old salary, fine. Pretend you didn't get the raise. Save it. This accelerates wealth building dramatically. The savings rate is more important than returns early on. Someone saving 30% of their income at 5% returns will be wealthier than someone saving 10% at 10% returns for many years. Why? They're putting more fuel in the machine. Returns matter more when the account is large. Contributions matter more when it's small. So early on, obsess over increasing your savings rate. Track your progress. Calculate your net worth quarterly. Total assets minus total liabilities. Watch it grow. This creates motivation. You see the number going up. You want it to go up faster. You find ways to contribute more. Tracking creates awareness. Awareness creates action. Most people have no idea what their net worth is. How can you grow what you don't measure? Set milestones. First 10,000. First 50,000. First 100,000. Celebrate them. The first 100,000 is the hardest. It takes years. But it proves the system works. After that, momentum builds. The second 100,000 comes faster. The third faster still. By the time you hit 500,000, your wealth is compounding faster than you can contribute. That's when you know you've won. Consider geographic arbitrage if you're entrepreneurial. Live in a low cost of living area while earning a high income remotely. Your money goes further. You save more. You invest more. You reach financial independence years earlier. This isn't for everyone. But if you can work remotely, it's a massive accelerator. The difference between living in San Francisco versus living in Mexico City is $50,000 a year in savings. Over a decade, that's 500,000 invested. Avoid lifestyle inflation at all costs. You don't need the bigger house. You don't need the luxury car. You don't need designer everything. Those things don't make you happier. Research proves it. After a certain income level, more stuff doesn't increase happiness. Experiences and relationships do. Save your money. Buy freedom instead of stuff. Freedom to quit jobs you hate. Freedom to travel when you want. Freedom to help people you love. That's wealth. Not leather seats in a car. The wealthy play long games. They optimize for decades, not days. They make decisions that hurt today but pay massively tomorrow. Delayed gratification is their superpower. This is why they're wealthy and others aren't. Not intelligence. Not luck. Patience and strategy. You can learn both. You can build both. And once you have them, wealth is inevitable. Pause and reflect. What phase are you in, and what's the next action that will accelerate your progress? Final chapter coming. We're bringing everything together into an actionable plan. Your roadmap from today to financial freedom. The blueprint that changes everything. Stay with me until the end. Recap, chapters 5 to 9. Let's consolidate everything from the second half before the final chapter. Chapter 5 revealed why smart people stay broke. Instant gratification, loss aversion, analysis paralysis, social comparison, scarcity mindset, and identity conflicts. Your psychology sabotages your wealth, but awareness breaks the pattern. Chapter 6 showed you where money actually grows. Index funds, retirement accounts, real estate, and why boring beats exciting. Automation removes willpower. Systems beat intentions. Chapter 7 gave you strategies that multiply wealth. Dollar cost averaging, rebalancing, tax loss harvesting, and asset location. Small optimizations compound into massive advantages. Chapter 8 prepared you for storms. Debt elimination, emergency funds, surviving market crashes, and protecting your compounding machine from life's chaos. Preparation separates success from failure. Chapter 9 taught acceleration. Understanding wealth phases, increasing savings rate, tracking progress, avoiding lifestyle inflation, and playing the long game that leads to freedom. The pattern is clear. Knowledge plus action plus time equals wealth. You can't control time, but you can control knowledge and action. Everything in these chapters works, proven by millions of people over decades. The math is ruthless and fair. Feed it capital consistently, protect it from interruptions, optimize continuously, and wealth becomes inevitable. Not quick, not easy, but inevitable. One more chapter. The final blueprint. Your specific action plan starting today. Everything crystallizes here. Chapter 10. Your wealth blueprint starting today. This is it. Everything you've learned crystallizes into action right now. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Because you understand what waiting costs. You understand that time is the variable you can't get back. This chapter is your step-by-step blueprint from wherever you are right now to financial freedom. Simple, actionable, proven. Let's build your wealth machine together, starting right now. Step 1. Calculate your current position. Open a spreadsheet. List every asset you own with its current value. Checking account, savings, investment account, retirement accounts, real estate equity, car value, everything. Now list every debt with its balance and interest rate. Credit cards, student loans, car loans, mortgage, everything. Subtract total debts from total asset. That's your net worth. Stare at it. Feel whatever emotion comes up. Then accept it. This is your starting line. Not your finish line. Your starting line. Step 2. Create your emergency fund goal. Calculate your monthly essential expenses. Rent, food, utilities, insurance, minimum debt payment. Not wants. Need. Multiply by 6. That's your emergency fund target. If you don't have this, building it is priority 1. Open a high-yield savings account today. Set up automatic weekly transfers until you hit your target. $50 a week. 100. Whatever you can. Just start. This fund protects everything else you're about to build. Step 3. Eliminate toxic debt. List every debt above 7% interest. Credit cards usually. Pay minimums on everything, but attack the highest interest debt with every spare dollar. Snowball or avalanche doesn't matter. Pick one and execute. When one debt dies, roll that payment to the next debt. Compound your debt payoff just like you'll compound your wealth. Don't invest beyond employer match until high-interest debt is dead. This is war. Win it fast. Step 4. Get the free money. If your employer offers 401k match, contribute enough to get the full match. That's non-negotiable. It's a 100% instant return. You will not find a better investment anywhere. If you're not getting the match, you're literally rejecting free money. Stop that immediately. Go to your HR portal today and adjust your contribution percentage. Right now. Pause this audio if you need to. I'll wait. This is that important. Step 5. Open a Roth IRA if you're eligible. Go to Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab. Open a Roth IRA account. Takes 15 minutes. Connect your bank account. Set up automatic monthly contributions, even if it's just $50 to start. The contribution limit is $7,000 per year as of 2025. That's $583 per month if you max it. Can't afford that? Start smaller. $50 a month is $600 a year. That's a start. You can increase it as your income grows. Step 6. Choose your investments. Inside your 401k and Roth IRA, buy low-cost index funds. If you're under 40, a target date retirement fund or a total stock market index fund is perfect. Expense ratios under 0.1%. SACs at Vanguard. SCACs at Fidelity. SWTSX at Schwab. These own thousands of companies. Instant diversification. Set it and forget it. Don't pick individual stock. Don't try to time the market. Just buy index funds and hold forever. Step 7. Automate everything. Set up automatic contributions from your checking account to investments the day after you get paid. Pay yourself first. If you wait until the end of the month, there will be nothing left. Automate 401k contributions through payroll deduction. Automate Roth IRA monthly transfers. Automate emergency fund deposit. Remove decisions. Remove willpower. Make wealth building happen automatically whether you feel motivated or not. Step 8. Increase contributions annually. Every January, increase your investment contributions by 1%. Got a raise? Invest half of it. Increase. The other half can improve your lifestyle. But never let lifestyle improvements consume entire raises. That's lifestyle inflation. That's the trap. Stay ahead of it. Your future self will thank you. Your present self might not even notice the difference. Step 9. Educate continuously but act immediately. Read personal finance books. Listen to podcasts. Learn about investing. But never let learning replace doing. You don't need perfect knowledge to start. You need basic knowledge and consistent action. Perfect knowledge with no action is worth nothing. Basic knowledge with action is worth millions. Learn as you go. Adjust as you grow. But never stop the contributions while you're learning. Step 10. Track quarterly, rebalance annually. Every 3 months, calculate your net worth. Watch it grow. This motivates you. This reminds you the system works. Once a year, check if your asset allocation has drifted. If you wanted 80% stocks and you're now at 85% because stocks grew, rebalance back to 80. Sell some stocks, buy some bonds. This forces selling high and buying low. Do this once a year. Not more. Not less. Step 11. Protect your wealth machine. Maintain your emergency fund. Keep your insurance current.